Would you like to be somebody who understands the dynamics of fear and the so-called front line with fear, the battlefield with fear? Then listen to this entire video where I explain how fears evolve and grow within your mind, and how in some sense humanity depends on you facing your fears. Okay, let's get into it. Well, first of all, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. Okay, so if you hide from your fears, the fear grows and wins territory. What I mean is, there's a reason why people call it a battle with fear. If somebody's battling their fears, it's because you are confronting an enemy. Your enemy on a battlefield. When you face your fear, you are at the front line with fear. You are engaging in it. You are responding to it, and you and your fear are fighting one another with the aim of dominating more space, more land, and more area, sort of mentally. And when you face your fear, you realize that you can handle whatever you feared, let's say. Then the front line gets pushed further forwards and you start to dominate more space, because beforehand, let's say you were afraid of talking to people you hadn't met before, and you start doing it a lot, let's say, and you realize, I'm able to do this. This isn't actually as scary as I thought it was. You literally gain more space. You dominate more space, more aspects of life, because now there are fewer situations that make you feel anxious and you are afraid of. Because if we're talking about comfort zones and feeling discomfort, the comfort zone is where you are not afraid of anything, and beyond the comfort zone is that which you fear, because it is the unknown. And that is like an area, and when you engage in the fear, your comfort zone incrementally shifts outwards and it becomes bigger and bigger. So you're more comfortable in more air, in more spaces in life. So you literally dominate more space. And you gain competence in more areas because you realize, I'm able to maneuver in these different spaces. However, when you hide from your fears and don't face them, the front line moves inwards towards you, because there was nobody at the front line to keep the fear at bay, which kept it, at a distance. The fear is therefore enabled to stroll forwards and dominate more space. And the issue lies within the dynamic nature of fear. Fears are alive. They are fluid and able to compound in size. They grow. Of course, they don't literally grow, but in your mind. And I would say fears are a phenomenological thing. They're something you experience. They don't necessarily exist outside of yourself. They exist through experience. Hence, the fear exists in your mind. So outside your mind, it doesn't exist. And we need to basically look at how the fear lives and morphs within your brain, within your thoughts. So when you let your fear dominate you, it merges into other domains of life, because it dominates. It, like the front line moves inwards and it sort of gains more space, more territory, and that is like it grows. It grows and moves into more aspects of your life. So let's say it's like this. Your proclivity to run from a fear becomes a habit. So obviously the fear does not grow literally, but you become less prone to facing it. So you shift backwards, you get pushed further towards a wall, your back gets pushed further like against a wall. So your proclivity to run from a fear gets higher, it becomes a habit. Then as soon as you're faced with the prospect of having to confront even a small situation that is discomforting or makes you feel anxious, you're more likely to shy away from it. So your actions become more tentative in general. And the anxiety seeps through into your thoughts when you are active in other domains of life, because you have this habit of hiding from the fear. And then, let's say in social situations, you feel anxious, so you avoid all social situations, and it consumes your life because you should be engaging in it, so it occupies your mind, but you don't do it because you're afraid. And then at work, you start to get more anxious also because there are people there, so there are social interactions going on. But then you realize, actually, you know, I'm hiding from this fear in my personal life of meeting new people, and there's people here who I've never talked to before, so maybe I'm actually just not really capable of talking to people in general. And then it accumulates the fear, and it merges into other aspects of your life. So you feel perturbed by more situations and spaces, and then there's less space for you to act in confidently without feeling anxious, because the frontline moves in, so the confines become smaller and smaller because your fear dominates more of this space outside of you. So the comfort zone grows smaller, and the discomfort, the prospect of discomfort becomes bigger. Now, this is why hiding from your fears is actually quite dangerous, because if you don't face them, they will consume you, you know. And Dr. Jordan Peterson says that it's better to break down your fears and actively try to overcome them than to avoid your fears and let them come to you. And I think, yes, because they are dynamic, and they will move in on you, and they will start to consume you. And I think facing fears is actually kind of in some sense, it's the story of humanity, because anything unknown to human makes us feel anxious. It's a fear because we don't understand it. And the unknown is chaos, you know, it's everything you don't understand, you haven't experienced before, you don't know. And we're afraid of that. And when you shield yourself only without trying to venture into the unknown, into the chaos, into that which, into our fears, like I said, the fear starts to surround us. And if you think of it like humanity in a castle, within the castle, you know, humanity is within the confines of its understood knowledge or its environment, and everything beyond it doesn't understand. But everything outside of it, there could be a dragon that's building its strength to come and, you know, destroy the castle. And because you're just shielding yourself and not going out, you're not going to be able to prepare yourself. And humanity really depends on, let's say, heroes to bravely set forth into the unknown and try to slay the danger, the dragon. Because what the hero does here is protect humanity from death. And the more you venture out, the more space you can dominate and control in some sense. And so the rate of your survival goes up because you have more area to live in. And there's less outside of your comfort zone, which is it's just pure mathematics. There's less probability of something out there that you're afraid of and could come and hurt you. So the more you venture out, the more space you dominate. And that is, in some sense, the story of humanity, just trying to turn more chaos, more unknown, into order, into that which you do know, and so forth. And that's why humanity depends on heroes who are willing to face their fears and their dragons and turn chaos into order. And humanity kind of depends on it. And if we don't face our fears, we peril, you know. And I think society still needs these kind of people today to face the problems of humanity that are threatening our existence, to tame the fear and to be brave and take it under control, let's say. So really, if there's one thing you can take away from this video, is you need to face your fears. It is so important, because if you don't, it's kind of an unfair thing. It's not like when you face your fears, you know, you crack a jackpot. I mean, you kind of, in the long term you might do, but it's an incremental, slow process, let's say. Although you do feel good when you face your fears, because you build confidence in it, that feels good. But if you don't face them, it wallops you. It really consumes your life, and it'll compound and grow, and you'll become more. Your confidence will go down because you think, you haven't built that habit of engaging in the fear, in that which makes you anxious. So it just grows bigger and bigger, like the monster that you're afraid of. It grows bigger and bigger, and that's really dangerous, because eventually it'll be so big that you can't face it anymore. And yeah, so it's like a continual battle that you need to continuously get out of your comfort zone and engage in the fear. It's so important. It's like I would say it's a cornerstone of personal growth, really. It really is, because it's what you're doing is you're engaging in struggle voluntarily so that you can grow as a person, because without struggle there is no progress. So in conclusion, the front line with fear is this battlefield, this continually existing battlefield with that which you are afraid of, which makes you anxious, which makes you feel uncomfortable, let's say, and therefore you fear it. Because you need to engage in it to dominate it and build confidence, and it's the story of humanity to map out and but understand more of reality. Well, that's what it really is also. And if you don't, the fear will close in on you and engulf you and actually consume you, and it'll be a lot harder to overcome the fear then, because the fear will grow a lot bigger in your head than it really is, and that's quite dangerous, I would say. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Thank you for listening.